welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
We are all back together again, which is nice. It is a late Friday night. I still can't get away from my job. Oh my gosh. Last week was 7 days in a row. This week is 6 days in a row. I'm very tired.
Well, and we would have started filming sooner, but Beth and I were driving here and we're like, I can't see a thing.
Yeah.
I had to
The
pull
western
over.
sun
You
has
get
been
spots in your eyes.
horrible lately.
Yeah, you're like,
The other night I was almost in an accident because of it.
yeah. I was getting
Tuesday.
close where
Yeah.
it was pretty scary.
Yeah.
Well, and when we went to pull over, there was like a construction in that area, and so we're seeing the little construction things at the last minute while we were trying to pull off.
Because there was a Circle K there, and I was like, I'm pulling over here. I might hit some construction things.
But at least they had $1 cookies.
Well, that's fun. That's fun. Okay, well, it is the end of March.
Yes.
Can we all heave a collective sigh? End of March. And when you see this, it will be Palm Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't believe that. That is fast. I'm going to go first. I literally have been still working on just one thing, but I've been working on it, so I'm proud of it. This is my Ocotillo shawl. I talked about it last week. Sorry, my needles are making noise. I talked about it last week. This is brioche knitting. You can see the contrast rows here and also the what they're calling Ocotillo flowers along the side. It's hard to see from there. You can see it a little bit better on this side, as I talked about last week. The brown shows up better.
Oh yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
My original thoughts were that this was the quote-unquote wrong side, and that the blue would be the right side. But, and I'll take pictures of both sides. For the intent of the pattern, I'm calling the blue side the right side, but
You can see them.
yeah, you can
just
see
not
them.
as pronounced.
And it's because this yarn is so variegated, and the brown is tonal. It's variegated also, but it's more tonal, so you can see it better.
Yeah.
But I like the color combo. The blue and the brown feels kind of casual, kind of jeans. I don't know why I keep thinking of that.
I like it.
And this is actually I'm making the large version. And when you finish, you have 23 of these flowers. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm on my 7th flower, so it's going to be very big because each time you make a new flower, you grow it and grow it to the side, and then you do a border of different flowers. And this week I'll put up some photos of the finished product. See, you do all these flowers up the side, and then you do them. You do like a border. Here's the border. You can kind of see the border very pronounced in this. Oop, let me get rid of. Oop. Sorry. In this photo, you can see the border of the flowers there. I'll put all these on close up. But so that's what I'm doing. I'm just I'm pleased with this. I'm enjoying it actually. When I first started it, I was kind of confused about it. And now I feel like I really understand it and can almost do it with minimal checking the pattern, which is fun. And here's the 2 colors I'm making it out of. This one is called Dragon's Eye, and I'm in the really part where there's a lot of white now. And then it'll get dark again as you go. But, yeah, I've talked about my slight disappointment of this yarn, but it's okay. It's okay. I still like it. And it will be pretty when I'm done, and what else? What else can you ask for? And I'm still waiting for approval to buy my yarn for the big sweater I want to make. So that is me. So Eve's going
I'm
second.
going second, and I'm trying to, let me get to where I can stop. I'm trying to get a little bit more work done on Murder in the Garden, because as I said last week, I purchased,
Cats are going crazy. I'm sorry.
if it's not cats, it's dogs.
Birds banging in the window.
I purchased Goose on the Loose, and so I'm like, I need to get these done. So I was working on, I took these both to Beth's orchestra rehearsal, and as I was working on Hair in the Garden, so this is where I am on this.
That's
You mean
lift it over.
Murder in the Garden? Or
This is Murder in the Garden.
Lift it over your cup. There
Yeah.
you go.
Somewhere I have the pattern, but I bought some new project bags on Amazon. So here's the pattern. So I'm working on this, but when I was working on it on Tuesday, first I was started on hair. There's a hair in my garden, and realized that that third bunny is in the wrong place again. And I was like,
No.
can I fudge it? Can I fudge it? Can I fudge it? And I'm like, no, it'll stick the fourth bunny out of the cone shape.
What was that?
Cat.
Oh.
He's mad because I haven't fed him. His dad is usually home to feed him, and his dad's not home, and he's mad at me. So sorry.
So I was going to work on this. I got mad at it and put it away, and then I said, no, I'm going to frog that so that next time I pick it up, I can get some work done on it, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't get very much done on this on Tuesday, so I'm going to try to work on it some today. So I have,
My cats are going crazy. I'm sorry.
I have an FFO. This
Oh, wow.
is hair, pigeon coop.
Wolf.
Wolf. Okay.
You got hair in the
Birds-
brain.
birds.
Hair brain.
So, I was gonna put little round beads in here, and I even painted them, and they just looked awful. They were wooden beads, and I was not gonna paint this jute. It was gonna stay jute, but I had gloves on my hands, and I touched this, and I went, okay, it's gonna be black.
That's good though. Let me see. Wow, that's cool.
So I have a crochet finish.
That's neat.
So did you put rickrack on it instead of the beads?
Mhm.
Is that
I like it.
yeah.
It's great.
I like the rickrack because it makes the moon pop.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's nice.
I
We
have a
tried all
crochet
kinds of
finish.
different options about that wolf.
Yes. I have a crochet finish. It's scrap from Ice Age. And this is supposed to, when you put, it's a coaster, and when you put a cup down, it pops
Is
everything
everything
up. And it kind of sort of works, you know?
That's cute.
This is for my son for his birthday because he really likes Ice Age. So, and it kind of works. And my son said, I'll use it. His birthday is not yet, but you know, he sees me working on stuff. So there's no point in saying, I'll wait and give it to you on your birthday. So we're going to put up a picture here of this flag.
Oh, I love that. How's it going?
I haven't worked on it today, but I've been
Oh, wow.
plugging away at it.
Neat.
I'm getting tired of lazy daisies, let me tell you. And I hate doing satin stitches, so, but I will persevere.
So what's the? I'm like, isn't it that's like the whole thing?
Yes, yes.
The whole entire thing.
Well, satin stitches are easier when the holes are already there.
Yeah.
Here, where you have to make the holes, you got to make it even, you
Yeah.
know. And I'm not finding much success in making it even. So there's that. And I should have shown you before I pulled this out. I tried to have another FFO. Of this is Art Deco Spring by Cross Stitching for Fun. Problem is, it doesn't really fit. It's covering up parts of the pattern.
Oh.
So it doesn't really fit, and I was really disappointed. I think it looks good in there. It's not tight or anything, because
You're just seeing if it
I was
fits.
sampling, see if the hoop fits. See if I have so many unfinished things. I'll find something that'll look good in here.
Yeah.
But I was like,
the hoop fits though.
I was like, darn it. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
we went and bought a wooden hoop at Hobby Lobby.
yeah. It has to be those cheap wooden hoops that'll fit. And then I have a new start. This is the America Berry by Erica Michaels. And I am going to work on this every Sunday instead of what I've been working on. It's a very small start, but you can't finish if you don't start. So
A start is a start, no matter how small. That's what Horton said in Horton Hears a Who, right?
no, but something like that. And since this is next, we'll talk about temperature, shall we? We had 104 days
Gross.
this past week.
Gross.
And it's March. It's absolutely unacceptable.
Gross. It is gross.
So I
So,
say, is March going out like a lamb?
No.
You know, they say it comes in like a lion, goes out like a lamb. And I was trying to remember if the beginning of March was particularly windy or not.
I don't know.
I don't know.
This
And
doesn't
burnt
keep,
land.
this doesn't keep track of wind. Just temperature. So
Oh my God,
I
it's
have
already
one
red.
more. I have one. It's orange,
Oh,
but I have one more color of red,
Mm.
and then I don't. I would have to figure out what to do if it gets past that.
oh no.
So, and it's gonna. If it's already this hot, it's gonna. It's supposed to cool off a little this week. By a degree or two, but yeah. And I keep plugging away at Crazy Stitch. I have decided that I will leave in this and just try to squeeze it up. It'll look a little different than the rest because the rest of it's open, really open. But I don't think so much different that it'll be obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really tight, but I can sew fabric to the bottom to get it to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and here's where I am. I just do about 20 minutes a day, maybe 10 minutes. So not a lot every day, but a little bit every day, and it'll eventually get done. Probably by next Christmas. This is Robert's Christmas present last year. I did some work on the Chronicles of Narnia. This is not one of my WIP-GO pieces. I did both of my WIP-GO goals. This is I have my WIP-GO goals, which is each a start and a working on something, and I have 2 things that I just plan to work on that month, because with WIP-GO you might be working on Halloween at Easter time, like I am next month. So Narnia is one of the ones I was going to work on. And this is where I am. I added a little bit of light to the lighthouse. I added some more color down the side.
That's so pretty.
It's a beautiful pattern. She did a really good job with this design.
I really like that.
But you have to be really, it's very county. Speaking of county, the other pattern that I was supposed to be working on this month, I should have stopped working on it, but I actually worked on it all day. I haven't worked on Narnia at all today. And that is Moonlit Moth. I am upside down. I am so close to a finish on this that I was just like, I can't. And I'm not really happy with the wings, the first wing that I did, and I'm not going to do like I did with the moon and just keep taking it out and taking it out and taking it out. I looked at it and went, I'll live with it. And this little thing here, I'm probably not going to leave that, but the moon is done. I'm debating whether to put some of the shiny stuff on it, like I have on the little stars. But I kind of like it where it's the only thing that's not shiny. So I still am thinking about it. Now that the stitching is in there, it'd be easier to put the shiny stuff on because the stitch is already there. But I kind of like it, the difference between the shiny and the not shiny. Whoops.
Can I see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for WIP-GO this coming month, and in no particular order, I'm going to be, one of the calls, there's 3 this month because she called the middle square. There's Sea Turtle, and I can't remember who this is by. It might be in here. Vi cross stitch or V cross stitch, VI cross stitch. And I'm doing the Sea Turtle, and this is how far I got with the start. So I didn't get a whole lot.
Is it very big?
No, that's almost all the way across. Okay. This is the middle.
Oh, wow.
No, it's not. There's 3
Like
of those.
a fourth.
Yeah, it's about a fourth of the way across. So it is bigger than the other one. The new start that goes with that is Christmas Chaos. It's this case right here.
I want to see that. What is that magazine? That looks cute.
This
Oh,
is
that's that one?
2023 Christmas ornaments.
Oh. Did you poke yourself?
No, my finger stuck in there. I was almost pulled the thread out.
And then I'm supposed to work on Pueblo Pottery number 2, which I searched for most of the day before yesterday. Couldn't find it. I will find it. It's in my house. I don't know where. But the new start I'm supposed to have with that is Ladybug Picnic. Now, I started Botanical Bee, which is the one that I chose to work on in April.
I love that one.
I started Botanical Bee on a 32 count fabric. And the called for is 32. This is not the called for. And I will work on this 32 count. But I don't have a 32 count that's pink.
Do you want something from take a look at that grab bag that Vicki sent?
I don't want anything higher than 32 count.
Yeah. Some of them I think are 32.
Maybe.
That's cute.
But I do have this pink that's 14 count. I might do that. It'll be bigger, a lot bigger though.
It's so cute though.
But it's definitely pink.
I like that.
I gotta cut it off of this.
Oh,
I want to make a pillow with that.
That's cute.
At 14 count, it would be quite a bit bigger. The stitch count is 71 by 70. These are adorable. I love the Christmas beetle and this
This
past thing. She came out with with a firefly.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, it's beautiful. And then the other WIP-GO call, the third one, is 5 days on
Oh yeah.
this kitty trick or treat.
Is that,
Are you just
This
doing
is
the
by-
kitty? Or did you
I
decide?
think I'm just gonna do just the kitty.
Okay.
Might do the pumpkins, but we'll see.
is that Lucy Beam or Satsuma Street?
This is Barbara Anna.
Barbara.
This is how far I am. So I've got her little dress and boots, and part of her head. So it goes pretty quickly. So I haven't decided. I do know I want to finish it as a stand-up because I think it would be. I don't have any Halloween anything right now, so that'll be cute. And the new start that I was supposed to have was the same as another square. So I said, good, I'm going to start Beach Quaker.
You see that?
That's one of my purchases from Nashville.
That's cute. That is so you, first of all, and very cute.
You should see all the under the sea patterns I got.
Oh my gosh.
And I believe I am finally done.
There was one I saw that I want, that it's not an beneath the waves thing, but it's
Yeah, little crab. It's so cute.
but it's like a whale and a ship and an ocean, you know, I can't remember the name of it now. But
All right, Beth,
I'm
you're up.
always a sucker for whales
Oh yeah, I remember.
and ships.
I remember that one.
Yeah. Let me put this
You're
in.
roll back.
Okay. So, I've been just killing time for the last 2 weeks because I thought, you know, I'm missing my stitching, and I've finished my WIP-GO stitching.
What do you mean
Missing
missing?
your stitching?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on these other things. I was like,
Oh.
I don't want to do this. I want to stitch. And I can't remember actually what.
She misses it as that she doesn't want to cross stitch. I mean, she doesn't want
to
to.
do crochet
crochet.
and other things.
Yeah. I forgot what my other.
It was punch needle.
No. The other.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
My other. I think I had another finish, right?
Oh,
Besides.
Last week.
Oh, the ferret.
yeah.
The
you finished
ferret,
The
yeah.
ferret, right.
Yeah. So yeah, the ferret and the bear.
So you finished and you were
I finished
sad
both of
because you
those.
finished.
Yeah. So I did make an effort to do those things, but then I was like, yeah, okay, this is boring. I want to stitch. And so I went back to Winter Woods Biscornu, and so last week I was working on this corner here, and do I have this upside down? No, I don't. And so so this week I've been working on this, and I had to because all I have left is the links that goes in this big blank space here.
Does it have a backside pattern?
Yes, it does. Yeah, I haven't done the other side, but
No, I
So,
know that. But
yeah. So
It's like forest and mountains.
yeah, it's
Mountains and trees or something?
mountains, just mountains.
Oh, because the trees are all on that side.
Yeah, just a mountain.
That's cool.
But so I'm having to I was doing this, because I had made mistakes over here, so I was having to really kind of fudge some things here to make the branches of the trees line up, and they're supposed to be like 1 stitch higher, and this tree here is like kind of all messed up on this fox's bottom here, because there's like a tree that runs into the fox's bottom, and it doesn't quite I had to really fudge around to make everything fit because there was so much wrong here. But otherwise, other than where the branches, and like I fudged around here where this bird is here, because the bird sits on a branch of this tree, and this tree is correct except for right here. I had to fudge around to make everything fit, and right around in here, and where this tree comes up here. But otherwise, up here, I'm trying to not make any mistakes and get it in right. So anyway, I've been working on this for the past few days, and this is the Western Wood Visconi by the Blue Flower. That came out this past Christmas, right? I think so. I think that's what it was. But anyway, so that. Why will this not move there?
There's another paper.
I know. I was trying to. It was hooked on something.
There's another paper underneath.
Yeah, I know. But so anyway, that's what I've been working on. But I just to show the final super duper finish of this. This is the the first one where I've done all 3 patterns of a set from this Year in the Woods by Cottage Garden Samplings. But this is the little border that I came up with, and I kind of had to like do some weird things on the bottom to make the bottom corners fit, and also because I miscalculated in here, so these 2 things are like off by 1 or whatever. So, but anyway, that's the border that I came up with. So this one is finished, even all the borders and everything else. So
That's nice.
Finished. And so there's that. And then I have my WIP-GO sheet out because of the new numbers are out here. But for March, my 2 new starts were both both non-cross stitch projects, right? So the first one I showed some of the progress the last couple weeks was this punch needle snowman, and so I did all but like the white of his face, and I don't want to take this off here because I don't want to wound it. But so there's his face, and I went ahead and I did have like a smaller hoop, and I used to like draw a line for the edge of his face, because there's not a line on the pattern, and I didn't want to just like randomly, punch the face, whatever. But I'm not really good at this.
Well, it's your first time.
Yeah, I know. So it was coming out kind of weird, and so I had to, I put it in and pulled it out, and so I kind of like stressed out the fabric, so I, stopped and let the fabric go back to normal. So, but in the meantime, I kind of lost my mojo. So
Here, where it's uneven.
yeah, I know
You
it's.
just pull it from this side.
Yeah, I have to doctor it.
Can I
so
see?
yeah.
So
She wants to use the flat side as the
the
finished
front
side.
with yarn punching. A lot of the videos that I watched, the side you punch on is the finished side, rather than finishing it on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but I did do the little hat that comes with it. And except for the gluing on there's little pom-poms that go right here to make the holly berries, but you have to glue those on. So I just this is all like self-stick felt for this, and it came with this little jute string and a wooden shape for the hat.
Well,
so.
the only way you're going to know if you like something is to try it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I've talked about how I think I would feel better about punch needle with thread with floss rather than with yarn, And then my other new start project was this little crochet snail. And I was looking at the pattern, the you know, the instructions, the pattern instructions, and I'm like, you know, like this side has like what all the abbreviations are, and like little drawing demonstrations about how to do the different stitches or whatever. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that doesn't really help. And so I watched a really good, just search tutorials on YouTube, and I found a really good one that, you know, explained how to do it. And I thought, okay, yeah, I understand how to do the basic crochet, you know, stitch. But then I was looking at the instructions about, you know, do this many of this stitch and that many of that stitch, or do this and that, and I'm like, I don't understand any of this. So I'm like,
I told her
yeah, I
I'd
mean,
help her,
yeah, I know.
But
Yeah,
but she never came out to ask because she
Yeah.
didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And you know what? This is supposed to be fun. So
yeah. So this is the little hook that it came with, and this is the first one of the balls of yarn. It has like you know, pink yarn for the shell, and this blue yarn for the antennas and stuff like that, and it has little safety eyes for the eyeballs. But so this was my start.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first instruction is to do I think 17
Chains.
the chain of
Start is the
17.
start.
Mm-hmm. And then so yeah, chain 17, and then two SC in second CH from hook. So
Single
Second chain.
crochet.
I stopped right there. Because I thought, well, I think I understand what it means, but I don't. I have to ask. I wanted to ask Eve, and I'm like, well, yeah, I'll do it. I'll ask her. I'll ask her later. And I never did. So there's that.
That's
So anyway, that's March, and you know, I could still go back to it theoretically. Anyway, but so
March
for
ain't over yet.
yeah, that's true. I have a few more days. But technically, I've hit my goal, right? Because I started it.
There you go.
But so the numbers then for April are 6, 13, and 14. So right, yeah, 6, 13, and 14. So 6 is the bald eagle, and that's another card sampling. And this set of 3, this is the only one that's not finished. So if I can finish the bald eagle, I'll have finished another set of 3. And I thought I had that out here. Oh, yeah, this is it here. I thought I was, yeah. Oh, don't fall out of there. Don't come apart. Got a pile here. So, because this is the one where I finished, just earlier this year, I finished the woodpecker and the barn owl, so all I have left is the bald eagle. But it has a lot of stitching to do. Both the surrounding trees and the bald eagle himself and all that. So I don't know if I'll be able to finish that, especially because there's 3 projects for April. But I shall make a valiant effort. It's basically about not quite halfway done, the bald eagle. But there's that. And then the other ones for April are Call the Sea Whale and Blizzard, both by Stacy Nash. So Blizzard is one of her animal crackers. And I did get just a little bit of a start on the what is this animal? It's a fox, I want to say. Is it a fox?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On this little scarf, on the fox's little scarf. And I don't know which way it goes exactly. I think it goes like this, but I'm not positive. I'll have to take a better look at it. But anyway, that's the little scarf.
He's wearing a sweater.
And I was trying to remember if I did it with one thread or two. I don't know. I'll have to look at it more carefully. And then the other one, the other Stacy Nash I have is Call of the Sea Whale. This is a set of 3 patterns: a ship, a compass, and a whale. And I've done the ship and the compass. What?
I thought you'd done all of them.
No, I did the ship and the compass, and I started on the whale, but I didn't finish it. So the whale, I did most of part of the flag, not most of it, part of the flag, part of the beginning of the sea, the outline of the whale, and part of his tail here, and then part of this little border that goes underneath there. I just did one of the little stars that goes under there. So there's not a bigger picture of the whale by itself, but so I guess for the sea it just has the one line. So I did do all of that, and then about maybe half of the flag there, and then like I said, I did the outline of the whale, and then just the beginning of one of the stars here on the bottom. So that's a long way to go, but I got a good start on it last time it came up last year. But so we'll see. I might do all the other stuff besides the whale's body, because the whale is just like, lots of stitching. And then for my 3 new starts for those calls, I'm going to just flash this real quick because I got a picture. It's a freebie from last year's market. Another one of their Stitch the Rainbow. This one, these are Threadworks colors. And this is the Iris. This is Iris by Blue Flower. This there. And then another. I think this came out at market last year also. I want to say, or maybe I don't know when it was exactly.
I think it was
maybe
one of the Lindy Stitches things.
Yeah, it might have been one of the virtual events with things. But this is by the Stitch Crypt. This is Under the Full Moon. And I just love this. It's very much like the Raven in the that same darker fabric nighttime birdie palette. So this one is an owl though. And so actually, Eve had been trying to dye a charcoal charcoal color for the Raven, and it came out a little bit light, so she was talking about maybe re-dyeing it or whatever, make it a little darker. And I think I'm going to join her in dyeing dark fabric for this. Yeah, because I was looking through all my fabrics and yeah. And then my other new start is another non cross stitch thing, and that's another diamond painting kit. And this one is another elephant. It's a little. I'll try to post a little tiny picture because the only picture I have is a little tiny one here. But it's like a baby elephant, I think, as I recall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I took this out and kind of took a look at it to prepare it for working on it. But anyway, that is me. That's my April stuff. Yeah.
I was hoping that there was what's it called on it?
What?
Copyright.
Oh.
That's pretty.
Yeah, I don't know what it says.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's not one there.
And that brings us to our question of the week. And this week, we want to know, do you consider yourself a monogamous stitcher or a polygamous stitcher? As in, do you just stick with one project till you get it done, or do you start a lot of things? Or do you have 1,000 projects going at the same time? And I also, the flip side of that question is, are you a process crafter? I will say crafter because we have multiple crafts here, but are you a process crafter or a product crafter? For me, I am recognizing that I'm 100% process knitter, because I can bounce from, I have been doing more, I've been able to finish more things lately, but I can bounce from project to project as long as I have, as long as I have knitting to do, you know. Like I had started this a long time ago and I had like this much of it done, and when I was bereft of a project, I was like, I just need to knit. I don't care what it is, you know. And so for me, it's really just about the process. And I get up early in the morning, and the other day I was like, I feel so sleepy, I don't want to go to work, and I'm like, I'm gonna knit, even if it's just half an hour, and it really wakes me up, it like gets my brain going again. So
well, and also when you come home at the end of the day, it's one of those things that you can do without really thinking about it.
Although last night I had to come home and kill things at my video game, so
Well, like when I crochet, for me it's easier to crochet in the evening because I don't have to have my thinking cap on for counting, because counting is obviously not my friend. So, like, I'm terrified of this Quaker. I'm like, that looks like a lot of counting.
yeah.
But look at the little bubbles on this wheel.
That's so cute. So yeah, so let us know, what's your style? Do you just like to start everything you get, or do you stick with one thing and deny yourself the fun of a new start?
I had the reason it came up is because I came across a post that someone had posted in the, I think it's in the Caterpillar Cross Stitch group on Facebook or whatever. But this person had said, you know, she'd always been a monogamous stitcher, and she didn't know, she was kind of contemplating, you know, possibly doing, you know, more than one project, and she was worried that her like attention would be divided, you know. Would she be more productive doing the, you know, continuing the one project at a time, or if, you know, if she did more than one project, would she be more, I guess, kind of scattered in her energy if you're doing those? And you know, and I had posted that that I used to be more or less a monogamous stitcher. I still had like, you know, maybe 2 or 3 projects, you know, like I'd work on one and then set it aside and work on something else. And, but usually, you know, I would, if I had, maybe I would work on something until I kind of lost interest in it, a little, got burnt out, and I would work on something else. But usually I would, you know, stick to that one project. And I'm kind of that way with WIP-GO. Like, you know, I set a goal of 7 days, and so for those 7 days, I'm pretty much monogamous for that, you know, for that one project. But I've got a bazillion WIPs.
Yeah.
You know, I certainly have enough to do WIP-GO, which is, you know, I've got 25 WIPs for that. And that's
and
not,
then you
and
do
I
new
have,
starts too.
well, and not only that, but I have 25 other WIPs, wait, you know, because I have my old WIPs and my new WIPs. And so my old WIPs are all in storage, so I can't really work on them.
Yeah, but how? So some people, that kind of stuff stresses them out. And so how do you? What do you like? You just want to stitch everything, so you just start it off.
And actually, I don't. I see his cat over there. I see his little ear sticking out. I kind of. I kind of don't like the new start process of figuring out, like, am I going to start in the center? Am I going to start on the end? Because then I've got to figure out like
Gonna make too many
where's
decisions.
the most stitching, or how, you know, how am I going to do this? And I used to start in the center, you know, almost exclusively, but I've kind of gotten I have a corner gauge, so that makes it a little easier to, to find the corner place to start. But also, I don't have to have exactly the right size of fabric. If I'm doing a smaller project on a bigger piece of fabric, if I do it in the upper left hand corner, then I've got all the rest of the fabric left to do whatever with.
Yeah.
And so what I've started doing, because I do this top corner starch a lot, is I'll have like a little scrap piece of floss, and I use that to mark the corner, and then so if I start, like, say I'm starting in 3 stitches in and 3 stitches down or something like that, but later on in the pattern hits that corner, hits that that edge, I've got the corner marked, so I know where to start. But I find starting a little fussy, and then, but once I get going, I'm fine.
I like to do new starts, and if I get a new pattern, I want to start it. And I have a tendency to kit up everything as soon as I buy it, so that when I want to start it, everything's available. The only thing is that, like with the cross stitch, I may not have the fabric, but that's why I dye a lot of fabric, and that's why I'm like looking at that pink fabric, going,
Yeah.
And I know that thing is on pink, and I want to do it on pink, and that is not my jam. I don't choose pink fabrics, but I don't know why I dyed that one pink. But
So you like the fun of starting things?
I don't buy it unless I really love it,
Yeah.
and so I want to start it. But like when I finally started that flamingo, I was like, I'm putting this down. I don't care if I have something else. I want to finish it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
then I
you were
finished
really
it.
good at finally, fully finishing things.
Yeah.
You were
You
really
would
good
not
at that.
believe how many things I still have that I need to fully finish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I've got a stack like this.
But the flamingo, it's like, I want to make that a pillow.
Yeah.
And if I had my sewing machine, I would just whip it out and make a pillow.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it by hand. I can. I did the Santa Claus by hand. And I don't want to drive all the way up here to borrow your sewing machine for something that's little.
Well, I have several. You could borrow my little brother if you want and just take it home. I'm not using it. It's literally in the bottom of my box. And you could borrow it till you dig yours out. Oh no!
You mean I could have it for the rest of my life?
No.
At the rate we're going.
I don't mean that. That's dumb. Just go get it. But anyway.
Yeah.
But no, you can borrow.
I'm kidding. We haven't been in a while, but yeah, we were contemplating going today, but then we didn't.
Well, it's so hot. But no, you can totally borrow it. Yeah.
So
The
But
other,
anyway.
the other question that's kind of related to that is do you, like she was saying, kit things up right away when you get a new pattern, you're going to start a new pattern. That was one thing we were talking about the idea of, like, there's some people who, like, they have 3 patterns and they all use DMC floss, so they buy all the floss for this pattern and buy all the floss for that pattern and buy all the floss for this pattern, and so they have like multiple sets of
Maybe the same
threads,
Yeah.
and even with fancy floss, sometimes people that tend to buy the same threads over and over again, and because then you have like all the threads for this project are in this project bag with this project, and they don't share. You're not having to go from project to project to find the threads or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and I kind of do that a little bit with DMC.
Yeah. I think the reason I have so many whips and so many starts is that I'm discovering about myself. I used to feel guilty about it, and now I refuse to feel guilty about it anymore because I'm realizing it's just the kind of crafter, knitter that I am, I like to learn new things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, this is the first brioche pattern I've ever done, and I had been wanting to learn it. It had been a skill that I had not jumped into yet, and so I was like, I want to do a brioche project. So I looked for the pattern, and I got the yarn and started it, and then I stopped working on it for ages because I learned how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and then I was like, oh, squirrel, I want to make a sweater. Oh, this, but and so I have no problem putting it in a bag and then not picking it up because I learned how to do it. So then I have a lot of like these weird like the 10 stitch blanket because it's really cool. And I actually started it and I was going gangbusters on it. You knit 10 stitches across and then you do decreases and it winds up turning the corner and then you keep going like this, and it's a not a spiral, but it because it's like it's a square and you keep going like this. And I found this really neat cotton yarn from Hobby Lobby, and I bought a bunch of it, and I decided this was going to be my camping blanket because it was literally 2 sticks and yarn, and you just did the same thing over and over again. So you could just, and I did. I took it camping, and I sat there during the day and had this project to do, and then I was going to make it my camping blanket. So then once it was finished, I was going to take it with me. And I really like it. I still like it. But the last time I cleaned Hannah's stuff out, I sat down. It was like middle of the night, and I'm like, because she was coming home for Christmas or I don't know when, and but this is what I do when I clean things out. I sit down and start working on a project. I'm insane, okay? And so I started working on it and realized I had forgotten how exactly, because there's a couple of ways you can do it. I had forgotten how I was exactly doing it. And so I could not move forward. So I tore the whole thing out.
Oh!
But it was only, I mean, no, don't be sad. It was like this much. It wasn't like a bag. If it was this, I wouldn't have. But it was just like the start of it. And so I'm like, I can restart it and decide exactly how to do it. Because there's a bunch of different things out there for if you go look, there's the 10 stitch blanket, and then there's also some that are done in the round, and I mean in a circle instead of squares. And I just need to relearn it.
Yeah.
and actually write down exactly how I chose to do it, because different people do it different ways. And the way I did it, it creates a ridge of stitching that goes in the circle. All this to say, it was one of those things where I wanted to learn to do it, and I did it, and then I didn't pick it up again.
That knitting SAL that we did, that I've never finished, I was looking for that. Remember I told you I couldn't find that pattern? I was looking for it, and I came across this. I was like...
You came across what?
I came across the bag where it was. I was like, I could work on that. No, I'm looking for this pattern. Yeah, but it's just right there.
Yeah.
That's why I never clean out anything.
I have that. I still have that. I didn't finish that one either, and I have.
And it's so pretty.
It is so pretty, and the colors I chose it for.
I love the colors I chose.
Shawl. Yeah, and I love the colors I chose because the one that I did finish is like, I wanted it to be autumn colors, but it turns out every time I wear it, people are like, Mardi Gras, and I'm like, no. And it has yellow, which I rarely wear, and like an olive green and brown, and then I chose a purple. I don't know why.
Mardi Gras.
Because of the yellow and the purple, people go, Mardi Gras, and I'm like, it's not a Mardi Gras shawl. It is fall. But the purple, anyway, so with the second one, the same one she's talking about, it's by Casapinka, is the knitting designer, and it's just a rectangular shawl, but it's like all these different patterns. It's really cool.
Very
patterns.
much, it's like the crochet blanket that I've done, which
Yeah.
I still haven't blocked because of our bathroom is torn up, so everything in the craft room is in, everything. And so I'm like, I need a space where the dogs are not going to walk.
Yeah. So, but yeah, because it's just varying stitch patterns. But it was a mystery knit along, and so you didn't know what it was going to look like. But anyway, the colors for that are all the colors that I wear a lot: blues and purples. It's really beautiful, and and grays, I think. And I've never finished it.
Yeah, and I'm like, and I got it back from the storage unit, and I'm like, I really need to work on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm working on this.
I know.
And
Well,
this month,
I have thought about restarting. I mean, like getting in there and figuring out where I was, and continuing that, because I just like the colors so much. It would be nice to have.
That's one thing I did. Was it yesterday? Today's Friday. Yeah, I guess it was yesterday. That because that's when the April numbers had come out, I guess, and so or the April numbers had just come out recently or whatever. If I had these new starts, and I was looking to see if everything was in Thread Stash, because I knew that like the new Nashville charts that I just got were not in there. And I thought, okay, I'll put all the Nashville things in there and list the threads and all that. And so I was making sure that, what was in there and what was not in there. And I had a whole bunch of relatively new patterns besides the Nashville charts. I had a few other new ones. And so I was, checking to see what all was in Thread Stash and what it wasn't. And so I spent the whole evening sticking stuff in there, because I thought, I want to make sure everything's in there, so that, like, especially if I have to go buy DMC threads for whatever reason, that I've got the list, or if we go to the attic and I'm, buying new threads or something, that I've got them listed in there so that I know what I need.
Yeah.
And so, so that's about as far as my organizing and goes.
But do you then, when you're doing that, do you get distracted and like, what is this? I need to start. Like,
well, you're only looking at the one thing you're putting in. It's not
Yeah.
like you're looking at everything.
Yeah, so that's one reason why I do WIP-GO, because I have so many things that I've started for whatever reason. That was why I originally started doing WIP-GO, because I had a whole bunch of older projects. And so,
but you're funny because you also use WIP-GO to start new things, so you're
Yeah.
like never get
Yeah,
the,
so-
the whips
because
done.
because hey, I've got like so far for this year, I've got like 7 finishes.
But I
So-
put on there things that I bought that I still haven't started, and it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to work on them if they're not started.
It's good motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one reason why I put new starts on there, because that way, I think the reason I originally did it was because I had a whole bunch of things that I wanted to start, but I had a whole bunch of things that I had
You were feeling
a
guilty
whole bunch
about
of
it.
whips. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, I'll list all my whips on there, or list 25 of my whips, and then I'll just put a new start on there. And so instead of like I stopped doing Mania really, because I don't want to do like some people, do a new start for every day of May. So you do 31 new starts, and there's always already enough excuses to do new starts, like cross stitch camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like what I was debating about was the 250th, anniversary, because I did buy Glory in the Wind, which I think, because the other thing I was thinking, well, cross stitch camp is coming up, and there's a new challenge for every month for June, July, and August, and but we don't know what they are yet. Of course, we won't know until
May.
Sherry announces them,
She'll
whatever.
she'll announce it in May.
Yeah, but so I'm like, well, do I wait, because I think maybe she'll probably have a patriotic, as a thing, as a goal, and I have Salmon Liberty, which is a Stitching with the Housewives project, and it's relatively small. So I think if I wait and do that, I could, maybe I could do that as one of the camp projects. But I want to do Glory in the Wind in time for July 4th because it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Do
I'm
you
like,
know what she's
"Ooh."
talking about?
It's a flag. But the stripes of the flag are birds holding ribbon that's flowing in the wind.
Oh, pretty.
It's really, really, really pretty.
That's pretty.
So and it was a big hit with for Nashville. So and I looked at it and I said no, don't do it. And I tried to restrain myself and keep myself to the beneath the waves thing. But then the more I thought about it, the more I wanted it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so when we were at the attic last week, I went ahead and bought it.
Oh, that's really pretty.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
So-
Mark might really like that.
Yeah, and I bought another Beneath the Waves project, and I bought another of the Plum Street little
really
animal
cool.
stacks they did. So they do so. Yeah,
Oh.
so and that's also patriotic. It's called Freedom Flock. So it's like a stack of 3 eagles: a baby
Yeah.
eaglet, another eagle, and a big spread eagle.
Oh my gosh.
So I have so one of those is going to be
We need to
So,
go.
yeah.
so basically,
It's
you're
got
not
squeeze in
monogamous.
it.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
oh, no.
That's the bottom line.
I've gone down the rabbit hole. Yeah.
Well,
So
I've got to go.
Yes, I really
I'm
do.
watching my my husband's location, and he is nearing. So, and none of us have eaten dinner, and it's very late. So,
Yes.
I've got to kick these guys out.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us again for one more week. It's been good to be back together, and hopefully next week will be calmer, and we will see you then. Thanks so much.
Bye.